to my channel once again. You're so much welcome to my channel. Please, if you are new to my channel, consider subscribing to my channel so that each time I upload a new content, you get notified and you also come here to watch my videos. So thank you so much for joining us today. Africa is not just a continent, but Africa is also a blessing to the world. And the race by the world powers over Africa is an evidence that Africa has what it takes to become the next world power. Every country in the world, every world powers is interested in Africa, ranging from China to the United States of America, to Europe, to India, to Israel. All of them are interested in Africa. Yet, we Africans have not been wise enough to discover that these people are exploiting us, and if we can make proper use of all those things they are exploiting us of, we can use them properly and we can become the next world power just in years to come. And we don't like to be told the truth. President Donald Trump is telling us the truth. No other world leader has done something like that. When we don't get it right, President Trump will be vocal enough to tell us that we didn't do it right. But we get upset whenever he uses a statement that is trying to tell us that Africa is not doing it good and Africa is not making proper use of what they have. Now look at this wonderful analysis over Africa so that you can be able to understand what Africa is made up of naturally by God.
Welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay, and this is Africa, a continent of 54 sovereign states. 17% of the world's population, 9.6% of the global oil output, 90% of the world's platinum supply, 90% of the world's cobalt supply, half of the world's gold supply, 2/3 of the world's manganese, 35% of the world's uranium, 75% of the world's coltan, and 54 votes in the United Nations General Assembly. This is what makes Africa so attractive and makes the continent a battleground for global powers. There are numerous fronts: investment and infrastructure, military power, diplomacy, soft power, trade, geopolitics. Every country has its own interest in Africa. In 2016, Israel began its scramble for the continent. Benjamin Netanyahu became the first Israeli prime minister to visit Africa in 50 years. What did he want? Votes in favor of Israel and against Palestine in the United Nations resolutions. Africa and Israel share similar histories, he said. Israel went on to sponsor solar, water and agricultural technologies. In the same year, 2016, Senegal co-sponsored a UN resolution. It condemned the construction of illegal Jewish settlements in the West Bank. What did Israel do? It cancelled the Mashav drip irrigation project. And this is just one example. Here's another one. The European Union has pledged more than $54 billion in sustainable investment for Africa. What does the EU want? Access to the African market of 1.3 billion people. Brussels has negotiated free trade agreements with at least 40 African countries. But does this ensure a balanced two-way trade? It doesn't. And no country has a bigger interest in Africa than China. China is funding 1 in 5 infrastructure projects in Africa. It is building every third one. Africa has an infrastructure deficit and China has a signed checkbook. Starting 2005, China has invested at least $2 trillion in Africa. It built 6,200 kilometers of railways, including the continent's longest railway line connecting Ethiopia and Djibouti. Beijing has also built the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa. What does China get in return? A lot. Geopolitical influence to start with. Beijing is selling its culture, its currency. In Guinea-Bissau, exit signs are written in Mandarin. China has established at least 50 Confucius Institutes across 33 countries. Several African countries use Chinese currency. China also gets a strategic overseas base. In 2017, China built its first overseas base at the Horn of Africa, Djibouti to be specific. Djibouti connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Indian Ocean via the Suez Canal. The base has the capacity to accommodate 10,000 troops. China also gets a market to dump its goods. China is Africa's largest trading partner. Chinese trade has increased 40-fold in the last 2 decades. At least 10,000 Chinese firms operate in Africa. This is according to a McKinsey study. Africa has resources and China has access. Did you know that a third of China's investments in Africa are in the mining sector. And finally, it gets to debt trap Africa. But here's the thing, China is not the only country investing in this continent. It's not even the biggest. The United States is Africa's largest investor. It accounts for $54 billion of FDI stock.
It's somewhat disheartening, but that is the truth. Everything is abundant in Africa. Like I said before, Africa is not just a continent here on earth, but Africa is a blessing to the world. Africa is the richest continent in the world in terms of natural resources. Everything is abundant in Africa. Everything is abundant enough. Everything that a continent needs in order to attain a very wonderful height of infrastructural development and economic greatness. All of them are abundant in Africa. And the question is, why is Africa still backward? Now, if I want to exploit you, if I want to take advantage of what you have, what I will do, the strategy which I will use is that I am not going to tell you what you have. I'll be looking at what you have. I'll be looking at the potential in you. I'll be looking at everything available around you. And owing to the fact that you don't know how valuable what you have is, I will just keep quiet and be exploiting that thing from you and be giving you something that's less meaningful, less valuable, and you'll be dancing. You'll be saying, I am gaining a lot from this person. Why I am taking something that is much bigger, much greater than that thing I'm giving to you. And that is what all these world powers are doing to Africa. Every world power is interested in Africa, and the reason is why. What have they found in Africa? A continent where they are saying that it's very poor, they are less educated, lack of infrastructure development, no social amenities, poor education, poor livelihood, and a lot of other things, but yet they are interested in Africa. And the reason is why. Because they found something in us which we Africans don't see among ourselves. And it is high time we start asking ourselves, how do we make use? How do we make proper use of what God has given to us in order to attain greater height, cross this level? Because the level in which we are right now is a level where the whole world is looking down on us, and we are getting disrespect from every part of the world. And there is no way Africa will be respected. There is no way Africa will be respected if we continue, if we remain the most backward continent on earth. We must have to improve. We must have to improve. And how do we start our improvement? We start our improvement by, first of all, waking up from our sleep, waking up from our slumber, and realize that we have everything it takes to get it, and that's what we have to do. As we are on the process of trying to build ourselves, we must be able to accept critics. We must be able to accept castigation from people, because if you reject castigation, if you reject criticism, it will be very, very difficult for you to improve. Why am I saying this? Because a lot of us are complaining that President Trump of the United States of America has said a lot of awkward things about Africa. And the question I want to ask ourselves is, if we are not doing it right, how do we expect Trump to fold himself, to fold his hands and be clapping for us? Of course, it's not going to help. So that is why Trump is one of the best presidents that ever ruled America. He wants the best for all, not only for the United States of America, but for all continents in the world, every other country in the world. So it's only when we accept criticism, we can be able to ask ourselves, why are we being castigated by the world? Why are we being castigated by the President of the United States? Then we can be able to make improvements. We can be able to change things. We can be able to ask questions. We can be able to rebuild. We can be able to start making wonderful plans for ourselves. So we need to drop that idea that President Trump of the United States is a racist, and he is racist towards Africa. He is not a racist towards Africa. He is just telling us how bad we are. And the reason he is making use of those statements is not because he hates Africa, but he wants improvement from us. Now, I want us to ask ourselves a question. Our politicians, they are corrupt. Our electoral processes, they are corrupt. Every system is corrupt. Every sector in Africa is corrupt. And that is why Africa is so backward. Now, if Trump does not castigate these our politicians, if our politicians are not called out loud by world leaders, how do we expect them to change? This is a very important question that we have to ask among ourselves. Now, we are not being allowed to protest. The voices of the citizens are not being heard. If you speak out loud, they will come against you. The law enforcement will come against you. They can jail you, they can imprison you, they can do anything to you in order to silence you. Now, if we are not being given that privilege to speak ill of our corrupt politicians, how do we expect them to change if other world leaders don't castigate them? Yes, by castigating our leaders, they are also castigating us, castigating all Africans, and that is what we should expect them to be doing until Africa changes. What we need is the best for all, best for the world, and best for every part of the world, so that the world can be a very safe and wonderful place for everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing to my channel, where we continue to talk about how we can make our continent, Africa, a very wonderful place to stay. Africa is not a cause to the world. Africa is not meant to be backward, but we are the ones to build it. And if we can be able to take the right actions, we can build Africa, and Africa will attain a very high level of respect in the eyes of every other part of the world. So please consider subscribing to my channel, so that each time I upload new content, you get notified. I will also come here to watch my video. So thank you so much. Bye for now, and see you again in my next video. Bye for now.